I think the late 1970s were really a unique time, and so there were a small number of people who had like ideas. We all had some exposure to either the American or the English trials group system, and we were all young and enthusiastic, and enthusiasm is really what makes things go, so it went.
We were lucky that this wonderful group of young people such as John Forbes, Snyder, Alan Coates all came back from overseas at the same time. They all had the idea of trying to ask questions in a clinical sense, and therefore as a group we decided to undertake some clinical trials. Initially those clinical trials were very simple clinical trials, asking very simple questions. We had worked overseas, we had some great mentors. Those mentors encouraged us. They saw that we could do things in Australia.
In 1978, when our group was formed, the main treatment was surgery. And unfortunately, many women had a recurrence of the breast cancer. It came back in their bone or lung or somewhere else, and it was very hard to treat. The first change that happened was a drug came along called tamoxifen, which was able to destroy cancer cells if they were sensitive to hormones. The deaths from breast cancer started falling, and this had never happened before. We just hadn't seen a falling mortality.
When I started training in breast cancer in the 60s, there was only one diagnosis: was it cancer or not cancer? Now we've got multiple different types of cancer, and we know how to treat particular types differently. That's a challenge for the clinical trials process, because it means that any particular trial will only be relevant to a small subset of women with breast cancer. So the challenge for clinical trialists, of course, is to establish wide collaboration so you can get enough numbers even in these rare subtypes.
When you're trying to recruit many thousands of women to clinical trials, people have got to collaborate, patients have got to collaborate, clinicians have got to collaborate, and our research assistants have got to collaborate. So this collaborative approach became international, and it is persisted today, and we now have one of the most wonderful international collaborations, which has resulted in enormous advances in breast cancer.
I think the thing I'm most proud of is the broad acceptance and recognition of that science is important. And when we get together with our research group, all the people are there because they believe the same thing. In a sense, you could say it's greater transparency and greater honesty about the whole problem. When one thinks back to the last century, the woman had a breast cancer, you cut the breast off and move on, and you have no idea where it came from, how it works, what the machinery is in the cancer cell. Today we learn all those things first.
Breast cancer research really is an example of cancer research which you gain information which can be used in other tumours. For example, the whole area of targeted therapies was developed in breast cancer, but that's now been extended to other types of cancer as well. So the benefits of breast cancer research have really spread out throughout the whole cancer research area.
Of course, one of our main jobs as we get to the end of our careers is succession planning, and I'm really happy and excited about the quality of the people who've taken over from us, because they will keep the group going with good science, and of course we've got the foundation of good monetary support.
Yeah, the importance of breast cancer research in the future is going to be trying to crack the really hard nuts. We are not curing everyone with breast cancer. In Australia, somewhere between 10 to 15% of women still die with breast cancer, and that's way too many. So we need to kind of drill down and understand how to improve that.
It is a real privilege to be able to work with the best people in the world, whether it's down the corridor or across the other side of the world, and that's the privilege I've had for 40 years. Together it means that you're right at the leading edge, and that's an enormous privilege and a great satisfaction.
And I'm proud that today we're not doing all the things that we did in the 1970s. Things are completely different. So the rate of change has increased, the benefits have increased, and I can only see a great future coming along.
I'm very hopeful about the future, very optimistic when you see what's happening. It's a wonderful time to be working in breast cancer research.